Often we get requests where people want to add new features to the user interface builder, and they want to extend the code that's available to do fancier things or to do things that don't come out sort of automatically from the interface builder. And I wanted to illustrate how you could use online resources and kind of extend the interface builder by sort of building on the fact that interface builder is created using common libraries that are available online. So interface builder, as you may know, uses HTML and CSS and JavaScript, and fancier things you might want to do could be added simply by adding, new JavaScript routines and things. But there's also a process that you need to use for thinking about this that where you might, how to search online and things like that. I wanted to illustrate that as well. And so today someone came and asked that for a feature where what they wanted to do was to have a button appear when someone starts typing in a text box. So this is sort of an example of it. This isn't their example, it's sort of my own, but the idea is that if you type in this text box, this Get Started button would appear. And right now, obviously, it doesn't work because the Get Started button appears when nothing is in the text box, and it just keeps appearing. So we want to not have it appear initially, and then we want it to appear when someone starts typing in the text box. Okay, so let's first take a look at the code for this. This is the page that we're looking at here, and this is the page that's kind of creating this text box here. And you can see here, first off, the text box, which is a text area. That's the name of the object. And then it has an ID, which uniquely identifies it, called text area 1, and it has a width attached to it. And then here's the button that we're looking at. And the button is ID'd with start button 1. It's uniquely identified as start button 1, and there's the rest of the button there. Okay. Um, the interface builder uses a very popular library called jQuery. So that's something that can be useful for kind of finding things like this. Let me show you a little bit about how you might look online to kind of find some library that's going to help you with this. So let me go to Google. There we go. Now I'm in Google, and I might type in something like, oops, not what I wanted. Uh, uh, let's do this. Something when, JavaScript button appears when typing. So this is the search term I looked for earlier when I was trying to figure out how to do this. And you can see some search results. And one thing, a great resource if you're not familiar with it for finding techniques and sort of code snippets and getting helpful suggestions is Stack Overflow. And usually Stack Overflow will pop to the top of the list of items in the search results because it's so popular. So here you can see a couple of Stack Overflow answers. Someone typed stack or JavaScript button show hide on text change. I could have used that, I didn't, but instead I used this one, which is how to show button after typing text. These both seem reasonable. So I clicked on this, and here you can see someone who asked a question that's similar to my question. He said, I want to show button on the form after typing something inside of input element. And here's their input element. It's ID'd with phone number here. So it's a little bit different, but very similar. And here is a button that they have created here, right? So that's what they're doing. And then down here below, you see these answers that different people gave. This one got a few positive responses, right? So this person suggested you can use key up event of text box to detect if something is typed in. So that's pretty close to what I want. And it seems logical here. If I look at this, it's saying a key up function, then if the length is greater than 0, then show else hide. So that's pretty much what I want to do. All right, so let's try to put that in. And I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this bit and see if I can hide the button, right? That's the first step. And I think a good approach in general when you're doing something like this is to do it incrementally and start with the simplest thing. So now I'm back to my edit of my HTML. There's currently no JavaScript in here. So what I need to do is first add some JavaScript, and I do that by typing script, right? So here's script, and that closes it. And now I can type JavaScript in between these things. And I'm just going to paste in this thing that I got off a line here for this in the Stack Overflow discussion. And here you can see it's using the ID button send, but that's not the ID that I have for my button. What my button is start button. All right, so I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to put start button in there. And what this should do is hide the button when I load this page. So I'm going to save this, and just first thing I want to do is test to see if the button no longer appears. So let me do that. I'm going to go to open an incognito window, and there it is, and the button is hidden. Perfect. So that worked. A good incremental step, and it's not working right yet because as I type, it should appear, and it doesn't. So I need to get that next bit working. So let me close this off and work on the next bit, which is to show the button. Going back to my file here, what I'm going to do now is just copy this whole thing and go back to my code here and paste this in. So there it is. And now I need to replace these, right? So this key up function needs to refer to my text area. So I'm going to go in here and paste this in. And then the button show hide needs to match this start button. So let me go ahead and do this. And now I have a little function. I have the first thing what it's doing, it's hiding it, right? And then below this, what it's doing is it's running this thing where if text area key up occurs, then it's going to check to see if the length of text area is greater than 0, and if it is, it'll show, and if it's not, it'll hide. That's it. All right, so let me go ahead and save this. And with some luck, and often you're going to have to do this a couple of times, and we'll see if this works the first time. If I didn't mess it up. Okay, there we go. So it's loaded. It's still blank, which is good. And if I start typing in here, look at that. It starts to show it. And if I clear it, it goes away. That's pretty much what I want. So I solved my problem. I was able to add a little feature here. And the way that I was able to add it was, by using online resources, by, sort of using the fact that Interface Builder is built on kind of common web technologies, and by adding a little JavaScript function here to create it. All right, that's it. Good luck.